Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm Great Scott.
Hey, Scott!
If you're new to this channel, please check out our other videos, because what we do here is free champions only. That means campaign farmable champions, daily login champions, rare champions, champions you get from the clan shop and from the Tag Team Bazaar. If everybody has access to these champions, those are champions we're going to use. It's free champions to everyone. So today I actually want to talk about a specific champion, and I'm not real big on champion guides, but whenever you look up this champion, you barely find any guides on her. There's not a lot out there, and the ones that are out there basically say she's mediocre, we don't really have a place for her, we don't know how to use her. I think that's nonsense. She's an absolutely fantastic champion, one of the best, and I'll show you who I'm talking about and how she works. She's actually a fusion champion for Rosin. Her name is Erinyes, and she's like the second one over here. And let's take a look at her kit to see why she's so good. She has a very unique kit. She's in the Demon Spawn faction, and her kit starts off with a poison. So A1 gives her 90, bumped up to 100% if you book it, of a 5% poison for 2 turns. Okay, she's got a poison on her A1, 100% land rate. That's pretty decent. On her A3, she has a block buffs for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. That's still pretty good. But what makes her really special is this A2. The A2 has a 100% chance when booked of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Now that's on a 4-turn cooldown. However, it's an AoE, so all of those debuffs are going to increase by a turn. So if you run her fast, or if you put her in a relentless set, or you can get her to spawn this over and over again, you can fill up that debuff bar and make sure it stays full for turn after turn after turn after turn after turn. And that's really what you want when it comes to Clan Boss, that's what you want when it comes to Dragon, that's what you want when it comes to Spider, that's what you want when it comes to taking those clan quests where you have to put so many 10 debuffs on the Spider or 10 debuffs on the Fire Knight or the Ice Golem or what have you. When you're getting those quests, you don't want your debuffs to fall off because you got to accumulate 10 of them. So she is an excellent this is an excellent skill for all of those applications. So for right now, we're going to try and run her in a Clan Boss team because that's where I actually appreciate her the most. So what we'll do is let's just run a Nightmare Clan Boss team. Let me collect my goods. I don't know what that is. I'm not even going to bother looking at it right now because we're in the middle of the video. So let's run a Nightmare team. It's Void Affinity. So we're going to run, let's set up a team here. How about this team? Let's run her instead of my Frozen Banshee. So here she is. I'm going to set up her skills so that on the very first one, you know what, no, I'm not going to set up her skills at all. I'm just going to let everything run normally, and we'll see how she does. Just a random, let's fire and forget, all auto. These are all rare champions, or free champions. High Katun you get after 30 days. These are all just rares that I've picked up over the year. And let's see how we go. I am actually going to compare her with some other great poisoners, Frozen Banshee being probably one of the best poisoners for Clan Boss, and we'll see how her damage goes compared to Frozen Banshee. I'm hoping she gets a whole lot of poisons. Her items and her stats are probably very similar to Frozen Banshee. They're both in relentless sets. They don't have any advantages one way or the other over another. I could use the exact same equipment, but it wouldn't make any sense to do that. There's no affinity advantage, there's no speed advantage, there's no hit points or defense advantage. They're both really stacked almost exactly the same. So as she goes along, you can see that debuff bar is kind of filling up, and hopefully one of the things we can get is some extra turns. And every extra turn, she's going to throw another poison, then another poison, then another poison, and then if you just saw now, she did her increase all debuff durations. So now we have 2 and 3 stacks on all those debuffs, and it's starting to really fill up the meter. So I've got decreased attack up there, I've got some burns up there, I've got some poisons up there, I've got decreased defense up there, I've got block buffs up there, which doesn't really do us any good on the Void because they don't buff themselves. But on the other affinities, they'll give themselves increased attack, which can really murder your team very quickly. So it's a good one to have on the other affinities. Not so useful on Void, but it is what it is. I suppose I could shut that off if I needed to, but we're just going to see how she does on auto. Now, I do not have 1 key teams on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. I think if I'm lucky, I might get 3 key teams on Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. It's just rares and free champions just don't kick out that kind of damage, and I don't have legendary 6-star fully ascended gear to give me the kind of stats that would allow me to go all the way to 50 turns, or even to try and get myself 39 million damage on the Nightmare Clan boss. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hope for, I don't know, 10, 12, 13. If I'm lucky, I might get to 15 sometimes, depending on the RNG. But we'll see how everything goes, and as soon as I'm done here, if I don't have another key, I know because of the clan versus clan that we have some clan rewards. I know I've got 2 keys sitting in the clan rewards, so I'll pull those right away, and we'll run as many runs as it takes between Frozen Banshee and Erinyes to really showcase her skills. We're going on count 10 for the boss, and we're like at 6.4 million. I don't exactly know how many turns these guys can survive, but I guess it depends on the RNG, of course. Hopefully they can get close to 15 to 20 turns so they can actually put out enough damage so that we can get maybe 3 key status. Now the good news is our Coffin Smasher's keeping that decreased attack up. Between our Apothecary and our High Katoon, we're keeping our speed up. And then, who is that? Marked. Marked is keeping our defense up. Marked also throws a decreased defense. It's a small version on the clan boss. Doesn't really help that much because most of our damage is coming from poison. But it's still nice to have. She's got a block debuff. Sometimes it blocks the stun, sometimes it doesn't, and she also has the increased defense, the big version, for 2 turns on all of the allies. So I really appreciate that. That's what keeps us going round after round after round, because now we're getting into some big damage here. We're at turn count 13, and those hits really hurt. So 8.7. Almost 8.8 million, turn count 14. We're doing pretty well so far. I just want to get to like maybe 12 to 13 million, and that'll be a 3 key for us, assuming it's consistent. Oh, just stunned our Erinyes, the one that we really need to be unstunned the whole time. Hopefully she can get a double turn from her Relentless gear, and we can get some more poisons put on them. Got a little bit of a heal there. Alright, just past 10 million, so we only need a couple million more, and we'll see how many Erinyes actually put up and compare that directly with Frozen Banshee. So the advantage that we have with Erinyes over Frozen Banshee is not so much the poisons or the poison sensitivity, it's the fact that we can increase and keep the burns on. We can increase and keep the decreased attack on. We can increase the decreased defense that Mark's throwing out there. We can actually keep those debuffs on, which helps us ultimately kick out a little bit more damage throughout the fight. We gotta be careful here because she's like almost half health. Oh, she got healed again. Alright, so we're doing pretty well. We made it past 19, so hopefully if we can make it past turn 20, we might get to our 13 million damage and we'll be able to 3 key this guy. That's not the biggest deal. I'm just doing this video to compare Erinyes versus somebody who's really a great clan boss champion, especially for rares like Frozen Banshee. So she'll be the next run that we do is Frozen Banshee, so we can compare apples to apples. We'll just let these guys finish up what they're doing. They're not really the stars of the show, even though they're still around. The decreased attack and the increased defense is what makes us last the longest. Alright, we're wrapping it up here. Well, we beat our 13 million, so I'm pretty happy about that. We don't really have to go too much further than 13 million. As long as we can consistently do it 3 times, we'll be able to 3-key the clan boss, and that's all we really need to do is get that big package. So 13.5 is total. We had Erinyes pulling out 6.1 million, and I'm just going to write that down for right now. So now what we can do is we can go back to our Bastion. I will grab the clan versus clan rewards, the 2 keys that we've got here, and now I've got 2 extra keys. I can go into clan boss here, and we can run another nightmare. But in this case, what we want to do is instead of running Erinyes, I want to run Frozen Banshee. Oops, get her out of there. Put Frozen Banshee in. And we're going to set up Frozen Banshee. Now, remember, we didn't do anything to set up Erinyes. She just ran what she was supposed to run. But Frozen Banshee needs actually to put her poison sensitivity on the first skill so that she can start kicking out those poisons right away. I often turn this one off, Cruel Exaltation off, because there's not really any need for it unless, of course, the debuff bar is completely full and there's nothing else she can do. I'm just going to leave it running. She doesn't use it all that much anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Let's run this and see how we do with Frozen Banshee. Frozen Banshee is arguably one of the best rare characters for Clan Boss because she kicks out so many poisons and poison sensitivities. It's really useful. But when I found Erinyes, the reason I found her is because I was going against Red Affinity clan bosses. And against Red Affinity clan bosses, Frozen Banshee doesn't land her poison sensitivity. If she doesn't land the poison sensitivity, there's 3 more turns where she doesn't land any poisons. And that really hurts your overall damage when it comes to the end. And so I was 4-keying at best, trying to get that last chest. Sometimes I'd miss it because I wasn't able to kick out enough damage on Frozen Banshee to actually make it against a red clan boss. But Erinyes has no problems against red clan boss, red or blue. So I typically put her in the red, and then I put her in the blue as well because she's a strong affinity against blue, whereas Frozen Banshee's equal affinity. So Frozen Banshee, she just basically runs against the green, the Spirit Affinity. That's the only one I really run my Frozen Banshee. All the rest are going to be Erinyes. So if we look, we're getting some poisons, some poison sensitivities, some decreased attack, some decreased defense. We're keeping up some of the buffs. We're a little bit behind where we were last round. I think we were probably around 3 million at this point, and we're only about 2.5 right now. But it could pick up, depending on RNG. Like I said, both Frozen Banshee and Erinyes have the... not retaliation. It's the one that goes again and again and again. I forgot. Yeah, it'll come to me. It doesn't matter. It just allows her to attack and has a chance for another attack after. Relentless. I knew it started with an R. They both have the Relentless gear on, so RNG is going to play a factor at how many times Frozen Banshee can apply those 2 strong versions of the poison back to back to back. So if we have good RNG, Frozen Banshee can fill up that debuff bar pretty quickly by herself. Whereas Erinyes only had the 1 poison, unless she got an extra turn. Then she only had 2 poisons, but she had the chance to increase the duration of all those poisons every 3rd or 4th turn, so it kept all those debuffs on quite a lot. The other disadvantage that we're seeing is Erinyes does not have poison sensitivity. So even though Frozen Banshee's kicking out more poisons, she also gets more damage for every poison due to that poison sensitivity. But we will see that it shouldn't really make that much of a difference. They're pretty equivalent characters. They're pretty equivalent champions between the 2 of them, even though everybody raves that, it is quite possible that Frozen Banshee is the best poisoner for Clan Boss in the rare category, or even in the epic category. She's phenomenal. Everybody should put a Frozen Banshee on their Clan Boss team. Frozen Banshee, Grave Chill Killer, this is an amazing team. I disagree. I think Erinyes is going to be far superior than Frozen Banshee in just about every application. Whether you're talking about Dragon, whether you're talking about Clan Boss, whether you're talking about Spider. We'll do a Spider run next, just to see how things go. I almost wanted to do multiple Clan Bosses, and I might just burn some more gems to do another clan boss with Erinyes, because who knows, maybe it was a fluke that she got 6 million, maybe it was a fluke that she only got 6 million, maybe she usually does 8. It's just a matter of testing it out over and over and over again so you can see how she can actually perform under these situations. We're coming up around turn 14, 15 now. We're less than 500,000 per turn right now, so we may not get as wonderful turnout as what we thought we would. We might make it to turn 20 or so, but I seriously doubt we're going to kick out the 13.5 million that we did on the previous run. And it could be just a fluke. This just could be bad RNG. So the next one, I'm just going to run another Frozen Banshee run, and we'll find out what that is. I might even just stop talking in the middle of the run and just speed the whole thing up so that you can see how it goes, and just get cut right to the end so you don't have to watch a 5, 6, 7, 10 minute fight, depending on how long it takes. But I would definitely look into Erinyes. Every place that you wanted to use Frozen Banshee, but she was the wrong affinity. Like, you're trying to progress your account past, level 20, level 21, level 22. Depending on what that affinity is, Frozen Banshee might be weak affinity and not do you any good. She might die quickly, she won't land any of her poison sensitivities, which means she won't be landing any of her poisons. Any weak hits aren't going to land any of those debuffs, and you may need a force champion, a red champion, in order to go against those red enemies, or even the blue enemies if they have strong resistances, or just to say that you may not get strong hits from Frozen Banshee on the like affinity. Well, it looks like we're coming up around turn 20, and we're at 10 million. Let's hope she gets some good RNG here so she can catch up. I want to still have a good showing for Frozen Banshee, but she's on par, in my opinion, with an Erinyes. I don't think Frozen Banshee is better than Erinyes at all in any area of the game, because she relies so heavily on that poison sensitivity. Alright, we're about 11.6, and it's down to 2 champions. Frozen Banshee's completely out right now, but she still has some poisons on the board, so she'll continue to collect some of that damage until those poisons wear off, and then the run will be over. Well, looks like this is it. Yep, 12.2. So we're about 1 million short of where we were before, and Frozen Banshee in this case did 6.5 million, which is actually higher than our Erinyes. Now, we did 1.3 million less damage overall, but Frozen Banshee did about 400,000 more damage than Erinyes. Let's run this one more time, and I'll probably speed it up so we can just get to the results. Alright, there we go. I sped that up pretty quick, about as fast as we could go there and still see what was going on. Wound up with 13.1 million damage, almost 13.2. Frozen Banshee did about 7 million. Exceptionally good run for Frozen Banshee. She doesn't usually put out that kind of damage for me. So let's buy another key. And let's run another run with Erinyes, just so we can do, apples to apples. Now, I didn't quite make my 3 key, most likely because I put Frozen Banshee in there, but that's okay. We're running a video, we're running a test. I don't mind wasting a key or wasting some gems so you guys can get a better idea how to use this champion. Ooh, that's a spider team, don't want that one. I want this one here. Alright, we don't even need to optimize anything. We're just going to run it on auto, whatever the presets are. I'm going to speed it up and hopefully we can just get right to the end. Here we go. Alright, there we go. 12.97. We'll call it 13 million damage on that run. And she had 6.9 million. So in comparison, first run for Erinyes was 6.1 million, and the whole team did 13.5 million. Whereas Frozen Banshee only did 6.5, which is better, but the whole team only did 12.2. On the second run, Erinyes did 6.9 for a 13 million run, and Frozen Banshee did 7 for a 13.16 run. So pretty equivalent on the second run. There's not really much variation there, just a little RNG here and there with War Master, Giant Slayer, things like that. She is just as effective as a Frozen Banshee. It took me 8 months before I pulled my first Frozen Banshee. I could have had Erinyes in probably 2 months because she's a fusion champion, so all you have to do is build the champions for that fusion. So let's take another look in another dungeon here. I like to do Spider. Spider's a fun one to do. So let's have a look at Spider. And I don't want to do Spider to 20 because it's a good affinity for Frozen Banshee and bad affinity for Erinyes. So let's do stage 21 because it's neutral affinity for both. And who I've got here, some free champions. You'll recognize Drexthar. You'll recognize Syl and Apothecary, and of course our girl Erinyes. And oh, this is the guy that you get from the Doom Tower. He's the second champion you get, but I forgot, like Ukoth or something like that. I forgot his name. We'll look him up in a second. So let's just run a regular auto battle on 21 Spider and see how things go. What I'll do is I'll swap in Frozen Banshee after this and see what Frozen Banshee does for her run. Of course, I'm going to speed everything up so you guys don't have to sit through like a 3 to 5 minute run each time. Well, there you go. It took about 2 minutes for that run. She did about 720,000. Probably doesn't help that she was taking a dirt nap for a while during that particular fight. So let's throw a Frozen Banshee in there and see how a Frozen Banshee does with that. I'm not going to bother setting up her auto. I'm just going to let it run like it normally runs. Well, Frozen Banshee did 793, and it was about a minute 48, so a little faster than the Erinyes run, but they can be used interchangeably. I think Frozen Banshee was alive a little longer than Erinyes was in that fight, so let's head over to Dragon and see how they do in the Dragon. let's choose Dragon 23 because they're equal affinity. And we'll just make a team here. Let's put Apothecary in the lead. I need some way to get through the waves, so I'll probably put a Yakarl in there to help me with the waves, a Syl for healing and to regen. I'll probably do... Well, we have to have an Erinyes in there, of course. And what are we missing here? We've got crowd control. Maybe we should do... Oh, let's do some defense there. Let's set him up. Alright, looks good there. Let's run it. Oops. Guess I should select them first. Now let's run it and see what happens. So the cool thing about Yakarl is he's great at wave clearing. He freezes everybody. He hits pretty hard. He and Syl, actually, those two can go through an entire Nightmare campaign by themselves, just the two of them. They can 3-star everything from the beginning all the way to the end and even the last boss. So I'm going to do a video on how to show you how to do that, of course. Syl comes at 6 months, and Yakarl comes whenever you decide to start buying him from the team bazaar. I mean, you could just buy fragments and buy fragments and buy fragments. He's there with Yannicka. She's free as well. I recommend going straight for Yakarl because Yakarl has, he is a game changer. He's an account changer. He is just as much an account changer as Syl. Now, Yakarl can be used in the arena, he can be used for wave clearing, but he is absolutely useless when we get to that dragon. He doesn't do us any good there at all. He's just a target. He'll probably die. He's abysmal at that kind of stuff. But he stops the waves from hitting us, which is why he's here, because we don't want any of these people to die, because it's just going to take us longer to get through those waves. As it is, it's probably going to be like 2 minutes per wave, and then maybe another 2 minutes for the dragon. So I'm gonna shut up, and I'll just speed it up so we can get right to the dragon, okay? Alright, there you go. Erinyes did 3.1 million, more than anybody else to the dragon because of those poisons, but what's more important is she also kept the other debuffs on that dragon as well. So that was a very important thing for her to do, and that's part of the reason why we were able to finish. We finished in 7 minutes and 35 seconds. And I'm just writing these numbers down, so it's almost 3.2 million, so I'll just call it 3.2 for Erinyes. Let's edit the team, put in Frozen Banshee, and see how she does against with Frozen Banshee in there instead. Like I said, I'll speed it up so it's a much shorter run for you guys watching than it is for me sitting here watching him go all the way through it. I mean, 7 minutes is kind of a long time for a run. Alright, here they go. Well, there it is. Now that's over. I could not believe how fast that run actually went. I know you can't see it when it's at high speeds, but Syl literally had 4 smites triggered during that fight. It was ridiculous. So Frozen Banshee wound up with 2.4 million compared to Erinyes' 3.2, and it took 7 minutes and 43 seconds, but you might as well call that 10 minutes because without those 4 smites going off from Syl, it would have been a much, much longer fight. So, She is comparable. So Erinyes and Frozen Banshee are comparable when it comes to poisoners against the dragon. I like it a lot. It's something I definitely want to explore further, especially if you haven't pulled a Frozen Banshee. And it could take a long time before you actually pull a Frozen Banshee. However, when it comes to the rosin fusion, it's always there. So, I mean, all you really need is a Raider, campaign farmable champion there, campaign farmable champion here, and I don't think Wanderer is a campaign farmable champion, but Gnarlhorn is, Valerie is, Raider is not, so you'll have to pull her. But yeah, just get those champions together as soon as you can. Don't feed them; they're not food. Put them into an Erinyes, and then you have a makeshift Frozen Banshee. In some cases, she's even better than Frozen Banshee. So let's take a look at how I have them built. Alright, so we have Frozen Banshee. Frozen Banshee is in a Relentless set with Immortal, and her total stats look a little something like this. She's not uber awesome built. About 43k on her hit points, about 1700 on her defense. Speed is 167. I just need her to go kind of slower than some of my debuffers. Some of my buffers, I mean, so I want my buffers to go before she goes so she can actually kick some damage out. Accuracy 331, so kind of keep those in the back of your mind for a second when we compare with the Erinyes. Now granted, Erinyes has higher basic stats, so you could get away with a lot lower gear on an Erinyes than you would have to equip a Frozen Banshee. So my Erinyes is also in Relentless, but does not have Immortal. So she's got the extra accuracy, which I think is useful. And her total stats are 25k hit points, not 43. But she has a little more defense. I put 2500 defense on her. I gave her 216 speed because I want her to go as many times as she possibly can, as fast as she possibly can, to keep throwing out that debuff extender as often as she possibly can. So she's a little beefier with defense, but a lot less hit points, so I say that's pretty equivalent. But the speed is huge. Her speed is so much faster than Frozen Banshee's. Even if Frozen Banshee was faster, I ran into the problem of that poison sensitivity not landing. So the next 3 attacks she has still won't land any poisons. It doesn't matter how fast those 3 attacks go by. No poison, no poison, no poison, then all of a sudden poison sensitivity is available again. So I found it really didn't help making my Frozen Banshee any faster. She just has to run her course. She just has to have really high accuracy, and I gave her a ton of hit points so that she's got good survivability. But I think Erinyes and Frozen Banshee are equivalent. Let's take a look at some of the other people I have in the account, and then I'll tell you about Erinyes' little brother. Of course, I have Rhonda. She was a free 7-day login. We've got Wukong. He was free 7-day login. Scylla the Drake's, of course, 6 months. You get her for a daily login. I've got Yakarl. You get him from the Team Bazaar shop. Just buy fragments from him. Vizix. I don't remember how many days Vizix, but it's kind of a lot. The new guy, Rathalos. I don't really like him. I've seen all these videos about how much damage he can do, and he's super awesome against bosses and stuff. I tried him out against the clan boss. Erinyes is just as good. She just does just as much damage as Rathalos does, and she's a free epic. So even though he was a 7-day login, he's not even as good as the free Erinyes. Of course, Drexthar can be purchased. Artak, 7-day login. Yannicka can be purchased from the same place that you get Yakarl. So yeah, and so here she is. She's a super dude. So let's look at her little brother, because we looked at her kit. She's got a poison, she's got increased duration all debuffs, and then she's got a block buffs on her A3. So her little brother actually is a rare, and he falls down here in the Shadowkins. And yes, I am talking about Assassin. Now, Assassin's kit is like a diet version of Erinyes' kit because she's an epic and he's a rare. But let's take a peek. He's got 75% chance when booked of the big version of poison. Okay, pretty good. He still has on his A2, he's got 75% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs by 1 turn. It's on a 3-turn cooldown, still pretty good. And he brings a weaken with a 100% chance on a 3-turn cooldown. So you get a weaken for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. That's pretty good for Clan Boss. That weaken goes a long way toward damage. So decreased defense and weakened on the Clan Boss, plus you extend all the debuffs. This little brother is pretty decent. Now his base stats kind of suck. I mean, his speed is 89. But between boots and some substats, you could easily get him up to the same speed as what Frozen Banshee is running. And, he gives ally speed in all battles of 10%. So not only can you use him for Shadowkin, you can use him for your early Clan Boss team. If you're still working on building up your Erinyes, you can use him to extend all those poisons that you might get from Kale or from an Outlaw Monk or whoever you're using early Clan Boss. He's great at extending all of those to keep him on for another turn and then another turn and then another turn. So I would hang on to him because he's actually worth building, even though everybody says, oh, he's garbage, he's a trash champion, don't build trash. You should build him if you don't have Erinyes yet. You should build him if you don't have Frozen Banshee yet. He is actually an excellent character to add duration to all those debuffs, and it's a 75% chance, which is pretty darn good considering he's a rare. So there are other champions out there that do give you this debuff extension. One of those is in the Dwarves. He is Bulwark. Bulwark is a Void rare, and he has a 30% chance of extending the duration of all debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn. A 30% chance. That means he's got to be attacked like 3 times before that's going to trigger once. That's not great, because your champion moves so much faster than the Clan Boss, you want it on an attack. You don't want it on when he's attacked. So, although Bulwark is good because he brings a weaken, and he brings a burn, this just isn't extending all of those very much. So he's not bringing that much to the table. So Bulwark has it. Another one that has it is it Stout Axeman? Yes. So this champion gets healed while he's under a Reflect. Also, he's got a 25% chance of increasing the duration of all attackers' debuffs when he's hit while he's under Reflect damage. That's only 25%. That's not even a 30%. And he has to be under Reflect damage to do it. So there aren't that many people out here that can extend the debuffs. So if you're needing that, which everybody should need that, Erinyes is the best choice, and the second best choice is, when it comes to free and rare champions, is going to be Assassin, her little brother. They're not related in the lore at all. One's a Shadowkin, the other one is Demon Spawn. So I just say her little brother because their kits are so similar that they're pretty close and related. So that's the video for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, do all that good stuff, and I will see you in our next video. Until then, bye-bye.